Hi, we're here today with another episode of our Above the Bar interviews. Today we have Miss Rebekah Cabrera, the principal of Coatimundi Middle School. She has been a previous Administrator of the Year. She was recently in an article in the Arizona Daily Star representing the district on leadership. So again, these are interviews that we conduct to get to know some of the people in our district that make us an Above the Bar district. So Ms. Cabrera, will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you for having me. I've been in the district. This is my sixth year. So I started at SUV as an assistant principal at Calabasas. I started my teaching career in 2003, and I taught elementary third grade for the majority of my teaching career. And then I moved into teaching middle school language arts, and then was a reading specialist for K through 3. And then became the elementary assistant principal at Calabasas, and now I'm in my current position at CTMS as the principal.
So, and also you're a graduate of our district, is that correct?
I am. I graduated Rio Rico High School when there were no seniors and I was a freshman, so I lucked out, I think. In 2000, I was a graduate, and my two daughters are now currently at Rio Rico High School, so second generations, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, and then you had the good fortune of having your daughters with you at school as well.
I did. That's the best thing. One of the best things I think about going into education is that you have that opportunity. And so I was able, they've been with me for their entire career, high school, and then 2 years when we were up in a different district. So yeah, they've gone with me through teaching and helping me with make models of things, to me being both of their principal, which I think has been a nice opportunity. And I think even for them, for the most part, it's been pretty good too.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, even though it can be difficult sometimes bringing the principal's kid.
They handle it really well. We went into this whole admin thing and teaching as a team. So the four of us made the decision, what is the best decision for us as a family? Do I become a principal? Do I not? And as long as we're all on the same page, it's a pretty smooth ride.
And so, do you also come from a family of educators? Is that correct?
I do. Both my mom and dad just retired about 6 years ago. My mom taught anywhere from 4th to 8th grade. Her love of teaching is in 5th grade. And then my dad taught in the Nogales School District, and then here in this district, he was a 7th grade math teacher at Calabasas, and then became a superintendent up in Northern Arizona.
Right. So you have a lot of background in education, just from your family and also now with your own family. So the transition from assistant principal to principal, how difficult was that for you, or how easy was it for you?
I think it's kind of a double edge. I think it was, Mr. Fanning was the principal at Calabasas, so he was my mentor during that transition. And so as the assistant principal, he gave me every opportunity to try and be part of everything. So he really assisted me in the growth for that. So I think that made it an easier transition into being the principal, but I think the hardest transition is not being able to be out and about as much as possible and with the students all the time, because you have other responsibilities you have to do. So the biggest goal I have is to continue to stay engaged and with the students. So that's what I want to continue to have happen, but sometimes there's things that have to get done in the office as opposed to being out with the students. So I think that's probably the most difficult transition for that.
Yeah, and I think that's always the tough thing when you become an administrator, is getting away from students. And why we get into the business of education is to help students, and we still do, but it's in a different way. So when you became principal, and you've been doing it now for quite a while, you're one of our actual veteran, despite your young age, or one of our veteran principals in the district. What has been the most difficult thing with COVID and this, since the spring heading into this year, for you as a principal?
I think the biggest challenge is just making sure we're making the right decisions, keeping the students first, making sure that they're safe, making sure that we're making the right decisions, making sure the teachers feel comfortable. The challenges of technology has been hard, just with I guess that is the grace of making those mistakes, but making sure that the students' learning and their safety is the number one priority. So I always try to think of the students and how that'll affect their families. How is that going to affect the teachers? Are they going, the stress levels are high and the anxiety can be difficult between anybody involved. And so I think just keeping that balance of high expectations, but the grace period as well, I think has been a challenge. Missing the students, I think, is one of the most difficult, but we're really lucky too. I mean, there's so many silver linings in COVID that until you are able to go, when you're in the middle of it, it just seems difficult. But when you go back and you do those reflections, I have to tell you, I think our staff, students, and community have grown and positively. There's so many things that they're trying out through technology and connecting with each other via Google Meets and Hangouts and things of that nature. So it's just giving ourselves permission to not have all the answers and not be as prepared as I'd like to be. I like to be organized and prepared and know what's coming next. And so just trusting that we are all making the best decisions that we possibly can with the information we have at this moment. I think it's made all of us grow and learn, and I think we're better because of it. So even though the challenges, I like to see it as the silver linings of how we're growing and becoming better educators, better people, and just having that understanding for everybody.
And I think that's a very positive outlook that we try to have in our district, and making sure that every issue or something that's considered a problem is an opportunity for growth and to do something better. Speaking of that, how hard has it been to balance from the administrator side to the parent side? Because you mentioned you have your two daughters, so trying to balance those through all of this as well.
Somebody once told me told us in a leadership retreat that was not a balance, it's more of a flow. You said that to us one year, and that's always stuck. And then I also had a previous administrator that we were talking about me going through the program to become a principal eventually. And she made a very valid point that said sometimes work wins and sometimes your family wins. And there are times that I struggle during the week because I chose for my family to win. And that's okay. I just know I have to work extra hard during the week. And sometimes work wins and my family understands that. And I do have a lot of conversations with my kids and my husband. How do you feel? I know I take a lot of time. And it's funny because my girls will say, Mom, we've always done that. It's just the way we work as a family. And so that's kind of where we're at. It's struggling, it's stressful, but they understand. And so we give and take from each other. And that's real positive. There's a lot of videos that happen at home when I'm meeting with parents. Dogs will be barking and I have to shut the doggy door, which they can open back up. So it kind of creates a little bit of a hecticness, but it's live. And so it does show our families too, that we're all humans and we're all doing this, but family related, I think I'm really blessed. I have two great girls that understand and they hold high regards to education, and they want me to be successful as much as I want them to be successful. So by working together, I think we do a pretty good job balancing it, or flowing with it at least. Yeah,
and I think that's when you try to make exceptions. That's what when I say that there's a flow, you just have to kind of go with it, because I think when you're trying to stick to something, sometimes it doesn't work, and that end up disappointing one or the other when you just go with it and try to. I know it can be hard, especially for somebody like you that likes to be very, very organized, and has everything planned, which is the one thing that I've learned as in education is you want to have the best plans, but then there's always room for deviation, because you have the teachable moments, you have all kinds of different things that happen. So it just helped me get over some of those control issues as well. So so you also have a husband, and he is a big part of that, I'm sure. how, and I know that his profession can also, make it difficult. And how has that been, for you as a family to be able to balance or flow with some of that?
Yeah. He's in the profession of being a chef, so he runs his, restaurants and the back ends and things of that nature. Very early on in our marriage, we struggled, obviously, just trying to figure out how does this work, and we have kids and this and that. So we make a point to get up extra early, and we have our coffee time. And so we just kind of talk about the day. Are you going to be late? Are you not going to be late? What's going on? And after 17 years, it works for us. And so we just kind of go back and forth of, are you a busy day? Can you do this for me because I have to do that? And I'll do this for you because you have to do that. Can you rearrange your schedule? So I think just the communication that we have is probably the most important thing that we can do to keep both of us successful, where we're not hurting anybody else's career or hurting, our feelings about our relationship. And so with all of us, I think, back to my kids too, that communication of where we have to be and what we're doing, and just making sure we have it organized so that we're all in the same loop, I think is really important, and it works. And he's a really phenomenal supporter of what I do. And when we first got married and we had small kids, he really grew and moved up in the levels of his career, and went to competitions and things of that nature. And now he's more settled and comfortable and is in a good spot. And so he's now allowed for me to make those changes and adjustments. And so working together, and just, we're a team. And so it works for us. And it works. I don't think COVID really had a lot of impact in that, because we've just been doing it for so long.
Yeah, and I think that once you have those kind of systems and the way you do things, it works very well when you have a supportive team. And I know that's how your school site is as well. You have a really positive team that works really well together, and the success has been continues to be successful at the school site. So now that hopefully we're going to be coming to an end of COVID, hopefully soon. I don't know how soon. What are you looking forward to the most in coming back to some type of normal?
Oh, just having the kids back on campus. It's so quiet without them. And I think they're that missing puzzle piece. You're right. I have a phenomenal staff. I can't say that enough. It's not a me thing. It's not me that, runs CTMS. It's all of us with the communication and the hard work and dedication, commitment that we have just to constantly improve. But the kids really do make the difference, and we need them in order to be a school site. And so I'm really looking forward to having them back. It was so nice to have them in hybrid for a while. And it just brings the campus alive. So that's the thing I'm looking forward to, having our students back on campus, and them being silly middle schoolers, and they're just really great to have with us. So.
Yeah, and I think we're all hopefully looking forward to that. So one last question is, I've asked this of all of our those that have been with us for years through graduation, and what have you seen the district, or how have you seen the district change from when you were a student to where it is now?
I think the opportunities that are now available to students, I think the love of Rebekah High School, when it was so brand new, there's only, it was 3 years in the making. Traditions and things of that nature weren't quite there. The pride was becoming part of it. I'm a Hawk, and I graduated from Rebekah High School, but just that is solid now. And I'm really proud that my children are able to be part of the growth and the opportunities. They just have an immense amount of things available to them. And we live in Sahuarita, and I choose to put my kids here in this district and at the high school that I went to. And it's just such a positive environment that I know they're growing, they're learning, they're becoming wonderful young adults. And that has a lot to do with what this district has continued to do. And I felt that I was I got a very good education and I was successful because of this district and the high school, and I wanted that to be part for my children, and I just continue to see that. And this district is never happy with just status quo. It's always, what can we do to improve? What can we do to help our students? What can we do to give them different opportunities? We want them to spread their wings and go out, but then come back. I know as a high school graduate, I said, I'm out of here as soon as I graduate, and I'm back, and I couldn't be in a better place. So I think that's something that this district can attest to for our students, and I know for my own children. So as a parent, I'm very happy with the school district and what it's able to provide for my children, knowing that that's what I want for every student here. That's what I try to have this school for. What do I want for my kids? What is the best for my kids? Because our families give us their most prized possessions, and that's what we do. We're there to make the best opportunities for them, and I think this district does that. And I think from the very beginning, it's tried and it's grown into itself and just continues to grow and become a wonderful place to be and a wonderful place to have your kids attend.
Well, thank you. Thank you for spending some time with us today, and thank you for sharing, a little bit about yourself and why you are above the bar. And we appreciate all of your hard work, and thank you for being part of our team.
Well, thank you very much.